But implementing your own new ideas, how did you go about doing that?
Okay, yes, Gerard, it was something that I did manage to recognize in the early days. I bought a successful business that was doing pretty well. I've since grown it, and it's considerably larger than what I originally purchased. But when I first saw the business and started to operate within it, I understood and saw that there could be better ways of doing things. I didn't go out immediately, and again, this was something that I had from advice, not my accountants this time, but friends or other acquaintances that had been successful in business, and they had advised, don't try, if it's not broken, don't change it. Don't fix it if it's not broken. And that was good advice, because the business was profitable, it was making money, and it was working very well. But there were changes that I saw that needed to be done. And after a while, I realized that it wasn't going to happen by forcibly walking in and saying, this is the way that it will be done. Because I think that would have just scared my staff right away. They would not have liked it, they would not have appreciated it, and I would not have kept their trust. So it's something that I have done over time, and a lot of the changes, in fact, a lot of the changes that we do today now are not purely mine. It's a staff decision that we do jointly, that we will discuss it, and they know how change is implemented into the company now. It's done as a joint thing. But to begin with, I had this idea of like a weekly board meeting around a table and a discussion, and very quickly that was allayed. I didn't do it, but I realized that there was a different way of doing things, and one of the simplest ways of doing that was a beer after work with the boys at finishing time, and things got discussed and talked, and ideas were thrown around then, and it developed from there. So yes, and even the girls in the office, just by pointing out in a nice way the failures of the systems, and saying, well, let's try something different. And it was something that I developed over time, by pointing out where things could be done slightly different, and showing where the old systems had failures.
Exactly. So some of those communication coming from your staff, those were often subtle hints. They weren't, direct pointing to the problem. They were subtle hints. It was a different style of communication than what you were used to. Is that right?
I think it was a little bit. I think from where we come from, there's a very, very clear distinction of authority, where you have the boss, and what the boss says goes. And I think here, and I'm not too familiar with the corporate industry in Australia, but I would say it probably is similar basis, that even though you still have the boss and the various levels down below, there's a lot more interaction between them. That a lot of what goes on in between those different levels is not you will do. It's all about relationships and interaction. And the boss, yes, he's the boss, but he's also a worker within the business, and he's considered that too. So if he's got to be prepared to do what everybody else is prepared to do.
Absolutely. So in all of this, you've noted to me before that there's been changes within you. You have changed your management style, and you said in the beginning you would probably do things differently even if you went back to Africa now.
Yes, I think I would. I wouldn't be scared to get up and make myself a coffee, or to clean the office with a vacuum cleaner. Those are minor changes that I see as very basic changes. In the higher level, yes, I would say that I'm totally changed in a lot of the ways that I do business, a lot of the ways that I deal with staff relationships, and I would say the majority of them are for the good.
Fantastic. Now, Wayne, we see a business that has grown over time, There's awards all over. A very successful business, Mark's Air Conditioning. You want to tell us more about what you do, and some of your contact details. People want to contact you and talk to you about business. Share it a little bit with us.
Thanks, Gerard. Yeah, no, that is you didn't have to bring up the awards and that, but yes, these are awards that we have for sales that we do in Australia. We're essentially a contracting business, but do have a whole range. We do maintenance and service. We do domestic installations. But the majority of the business is contracting, where we do contracting of air conditioning for building contractors. A lot of our work is negotiated work, and that is purely through successful previous projects where we develop good relationships by doing quality workmanship to budget within timescales. And so a lot of our work is repeat work with contractors. We still do tender on works and do win projects on tender, but that is the basis of the business. So it's an air conditioning business. We operate in the Sunshine Coast. We work along the sort of eastern seaboard of Australia, in Queensland predominantly, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and then up as far north probably as Bundaberg. And that's where we're established. We do servicing and maintenance in that area, and it's a business now that has got a few subsidiaries. We do some other sales and have been involved in the past in some electrical too.
Okay, fantastic. Now the last question, I guess important one, is you've been in the country for almost 10 years now. Are you glad you came to Australia?
I would say yes, I'm very, very glad. We have heard it said by a number of people that come in here that after 2 years you start to have the wobblies and start thinking of going back. We fortunately never went through that, and I haven't as yet had that. We've been very blessed in this country. We love it here. We don't have any intention of moving from where we are, and I have never denied the fact that we have made the right choice for our children's sake and for ours.
That's fantastic. Well, Wayne, thank you very much, and we want to wish you all the best with Mark's Air Conditioning.
Thank you, Gerard.